I'm going to talk to you about the best credit cards for people who haven't had a credit card before. You may have already checked a few websites and are a bit unsure about which one to go for. With so many options, it can be really hard to choose the right one, and unfortunately, there isn't a perfect credit card out there. Instead, you want to look for a credit card that suits your needs because everyone's needs are different. I'll explain all this soon, but first, I want to share my story and more importantly, my mistakes so that you can have a smoother ride with your first credit card. I got my first credit card when I was 19 following a bit of a messy breakup. I moved in with my mate and I was fed up of being skint, so I guess I got one for all the wrong reasons. I saw it as free cash, which it definitely isn't. And if anything, it's more expensive cash because I got charged for withdrawals, and that's before the interest was added on. I only paid off the minimum payment per month, so I ended up getting into debt and regretting the whole experience because, to be honest, I didn't know any better. So on that note, I'll also give you some tips and tricks on managing your credit card wisely so that you can avoid debt and maintain a healthy financial life. If you know how to use them properly, credit cards can offer extra consumer protection, cashback, and even interest-free borrowing. You just need the knowledge to manage them responsibly. So always remember, the goal is to improve your credit report, not to access the cash or rewards. With that said, let's get into everything you need to know. Why having a strong credit report matters. So why is it important to have such a strong credit report and score? Well, imagine you want to borrow money for a car, a house, or maybe even start your own business. Having a good credit score shows lenders that you're a responsible borrower, which means they're more likely to lend you larger amounts of money at better interest rates. And using and paying off a credit card each month can help demonstrate that. If you have no credit history, you have no back catalogue for lenders to see how good you are at paying money back. It's a common misconception to think that having no credit puts you in a better financial position. Well, although you have more capacity to borrow money, there's nothing to prove that you'll be any good at making your payments in time. There are a quick few solid ways to build up your credit rating. Make sure that you're on the electoral roll, pay your bills on time, and check your credit history for mistakes. Let's go into credit scores in more detail. In the UK, credit scores range from 0 up to 999, with higher scores indicating better creditworthiness. So generally a score above 700 is considered good, while anything above 800 is excellent. So it's essential to aim for a high credit score to improve your chances of getting approved for loans and enjoying better interest rates. To put it simply, a higher score unlocks the best deals and you'll pay less interest back. Let's look at some advantages and disadvantages of having a credit card. The advantages: you've got a bit of breathing space. You can make a big purchase and delay the payment. To improve your credit, paying on time can boost your credit score. Cashback and rewards. Some cards offer benefits like cashback, and I'll go into more detail on that later. The disadvantages are a lower credit score because if you miss your payments, you can damage your credit rating. Getting into debt like I did, so not paying back what you've borrowed can lead to debt. Restricted use, you might be charged for cash withdrawals or using the card abroad. The best first-time credit cards for 2023. Trying to find the best credit card is quite a personal thing, and I remember feeling a bit frazzled about them when I got my first card. What you need to determine is, what are you going to use it for? And what's more important to you? Have you already built up a credit history, or is this the first credit you've taken out? At this point, it's worth warning you not to apply for credit cards unless you know you're eligible for them. The reason behind this is it's detrimental to your credit score if you're refused. I'll tell you what I'd look for in a credit card, and you can see if any of these points resonate with you. The first thing I'd now check before I signed up to a credit card is the interest rate. You need to know that if 1 month you can't pay back the amount, how much you're going to be charged. Obviously, a 0% interest rate would be ideal. Some credit cards only offer this for the first few months, but if you need a one-off purchase and you're confident that you can pay it off within that time frame, then this would work out brilliantly for you because you'd also be building up your credit score at the same time. My sister raves about her credit card because she gets cash back on all purchases. What does that mean? Well, she shares it with her partner and they buy absolutely everything on it. They get 5% on every transaction for the first 3 months and then 1% after that. And then they pay off the balance every month. It's the American Express Everyday Cashback card. I'll give you more details on that later. So essentially, they get cash for spending money that they were going to spend anyway. If you're getting your first credit card as a credit score booster, the likelihood is that interest rates will be higher. You'll have to make sure that you're able to pay it off monthly so that you don't end up shelling out loads of money on interest. I would do a price comparison to find the lowest APR. On that note, let me talk you through the process of how to find the best credit card deals, and I'll run through a few with you now. When you go on comparison websites like Money Supermarket or USwitch, they'll ask you to put in your details to give you a more tailored search based on your circumstances. It'll show which credit cards are available to you and suited to your finances. This is a great way to compare a few cards at a time, but there's no point in me putting in my details and reading them out because my financial life will be different to yours. But I have done some research and I'll run through the top 3 credit cards and why they're deemed so good. American Express Platinum Cashback Everyday Credit Card. Now, this is a card my sister told me about. You have to be able to pay your balance every month because the APR is high at 29.4%, but you don't have an account fee and you get money back for your purchases. You get a cashback boost for referring a friend as well. And this is a good way of getting money back for things that you were going to buy already. Sainsbury's Bank Nectar Reward Credit Card. If you're a big Sainsbury's, Habitat or Argos shopper, then you can get a big boost on your Nectar card. You'll earn 3 Nectar points for every £1 spent, and you'll get a 10,000 Nectar point bonus if you spend £400 at those stores in the first couple of months. It's 0% for 6 months and then it climbs to 22.95% APR. Now, personally, I think this is a good one to use if you're moving into a new home. You could buy furniture from Habitat, appliances from Argos, a bit of food from Sainsbury's, and if you haven't hit that £400 mark, you could do a weekly shop and then get that bonus of points so that you can spend it on whatever you fancy. This is only a good idea though if it's things that you actually need. Barclaycard Rewards Visa. If you're into travelling and going to gigs, this might be a good option for you. This avoids currency conversion costs when you're abroad, and you can earn cash back when you spend. For music lovers, you can buy tickets for up to 3,500 selected live events through Barclaycard Entertainment and get 5% off tickets per year and exclusive pre-sale tickets on selected festivals with 10% off ticket prices. You can save 10% on food and drink at all UK O2 Academy venues. The APR is high, it's 25.9%. Now, I've mentioned the interest on all of these cards, but if you pay them off monthly, then you shouldn't have to worry about it. Which leads me into tips for managing your credit card responsibly. Now that you know about some great credit cards for beginners, let's talk about the best way to manage them. Make sure that you can pay off your balance in full each month. This will help you avoid paying interest and keep your credit usage low, which is essential for a good credit score. Don't max out your credit limit. Listen, I know how tempting it is to keep spending, but make sure that you resist and make your credit card work for you. You don't want to suddenly creep into debt and then end up in a credit score slump. If you want a good rule of thumb, aim for 30%. So let's use, £3,000 as an example. Aim to be using around £900 max. It prevents you from going into debt and shows that you have the ability to pay it back. Set up automatic payments. Now, this ensures that you never miss a payment, which can lead to late fees and negative impact on your credit score. This could be a standing order and aim to pay off more than the minimum payment. Review your credit report regularly. Keep an eye on your credit report to make sure that there are no inaccuracies or fraudulent activities. You can request a free copy of your credit report from the 3 main credit reference agencies, which are in the UK. So we've got Experian, Equifax and TransUnion. Be patient. I know it's hard, but building a good credit score takes time. So don't get discouraged if you don't see significant improvements overnight. Just continue to use your credit card responsibly and your credit score will gradually improve. Understanding credit cards and interest rates. When you're staring at a collection of numbers and percentages, it can be a bit confusing, so I'll run through credit cards and interest rates. When you get a credit card, you'll be given a credit limit, which is the maximum amount that you can borrow. You'll also have an interest rate, which is a percentage of the balance that you carry over each month that you need to pay back in addition to the original amount. So let me try and give you an example of this. If you have £100 outstanding on your credit card and the APR is 29%, in the first month the interest would be £3 because the percentage is calculated over a year. So if it was £1,000, the interest is 30 quid. So you can see how much it can creep up when you start to spend more. So how do you avoid paying interest? Simple. You just pay off your balance in full each month.